When speaking about the history of Indian River County and Vero Beach, you'd be hard-pressed to separate our town's legacy from that of the Dodgers. Their organization played a major role in our community, in our town, from the 40s until today.
My dad had all these buildings and all this property and everything, and what to do with it. And my mother came up with the idea, said, well, why don't you think about bringing a baseball club in here? He said, well, who has the biggest organization? Well, they said, well, the Dodgers do. So my dad got on the airline, went up and introduced himself to Branch Rickey and Walter O'Malley and all them.
It's 1948 and Jackie Robinson is trying to break into baseball. Walter O'Malley and Branch Rickey had the vision of having Jackie play, and we were looking for a home where all players of all colors could work, play, sleep, and practice together. And they made a stop in Vero Beach and met Bud Holman, and they never left Vero Beach. He was such a good host and such a good salesman that he sold the Dodgers on this is the place to be to break the color barrier in baseball. The Dodgers brought 600 ball players to Vero Beach when the population was only 3,000. So the impact of the Dodgers was 1 player per 5 residents.
At this point in our history, segregation was prominent in our everyday life and also in the sports world.
The Dodgers signed Jackie Robinson. And in those days, Florida was segregated, spring training camps were segregated. So being able to take over the facilities that remained from the Navy, where everyone would be housed for the first time, it was the first integrated spring training camp in the state of Florida, that was a big thing. And again, it brought us together, that the players realized that we were all in this together, we're teammates, whether they were from here or there, and it worked.
Being all together on this small campus, playing together, living together, was reflected in how their team did and the many years that they won the World Series championship.
I went into the major leagues in 1950 with the Chicago Cubs, and then I was traded to the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1956. Of course, I was excited I could be, because you always want to play in the World Series. They were like a family, really. And that's one of the reasons they won, because they were like a family. Of course, they were just great people, and they welcomed me, and one day I was a Brooklyn Dodger.
When the barracks were torn down and the current rooms were built, several of the players started a campaign, Bring Back the Barracks. And it was the darndest thing, because in our hearts we really had outlived the barracks, and the barracks had outlived us. And here's a spontaneous movement. We miss the barracks. We want the barracks back. Well, of course, the barracks weren't coming back. But I say that because it demonstrated the affection that everyone had for experiencing living in those barracks.
This campus atmosphere brought everyone together under one banner, regardless of their race. They were part of the team, the Dodgers.
In 1958, the Dodgers leave New York, they go to California, and many people thought that we would leave Vero Beach. But as I said earlier, my parents had fallen in love with Vero Beach. Many wonderful friends, the Holmans, the Corrigans, the Schumans, to this day, longtime friends. And my parents and myself later on said, there's no way we will not leave Vero Beach, even though the team is playing in California.
Once the Dodgers, under different ownership, decided to move to Arizona, the facility was shuttered by Indian River County. We reopened the facility in 2009 and spent a few years trying to find an identity. Eventually, Peter, his sister Terry, and 2 good friends of theirs, Chan Ho Park and Hideo Nomo, formed a partnership to save historic Dodger Town. And our goal was to keep history alive. And the only way to do so was not to just rely on baseball, but on all sports.
That was about 4 or 5 years ago, and now we're overflowing Dodger Town year round, not just in the spring, but summer, fall, all year round. And I know it's appreciated by the community that we're bringing a lot of business here because of all these different sports that come to train at historic Dodgertown.
Looking back at the history of Dodgertown and all that has been accomplished over the years, that's what makes me extremely proud. The love affair between the Dodgers and Vero Beach is unique. There's never been a major league team or a big league team like the Dodgers that have had a facility in such a small town.
For many years, Vero Beach was a very special place for my parents, myself, my sister and her family, and now our grandchildren.
As a historian, I think it's very important that we remember that a lot of the things in our history starts with small, innovative practices, and the Dodgers were the ones who brought the campus concept to us, and they also brought introducing the African Americans into the sports world. The legacy that they left for this community, this town, and our county, we should be very, very proud of.